Welcome dear students. This is my third lecture on literary terms. In the first two lectures, I have talked about a few important literary terms. Today, I am going to talk about two terms. I will try to explain them in detail. Allegory and a type of novel that is called Bildungsroman. So, I will explain what these two literary terms mean and some of their details. So, first of all, let us look at allegory. Allegory is originally from Greek word allegoria, and it means a story or visual image with a second distinct meaning, partially hidden behind its literal or visible meaning. So, basically the writer creates a kind of story or an image that has double meanings. So, it has two meanings. One meaning is surface meaning and the other is hidden, that is implied. So, this is actually the writer's way of conveying certain ideas indirectly. Now, why a writer uses allegory? This question can be answered in multiple ways. Sometimes, in order to make the reading process challenging for the reader, he wants the reader to use his comprehension skills to unravel the text, to interpret it and find the implied hidden meanings. And similarly, sometimes explaining and expressing an idea directly does not appeal to the reader as much as it does when the meaning is created and conveyed indirectly. Now, this allegory, let me repeat, the writer creates a story or visual image with a second distinct meaning, partially hidden behind its literal or visible meaning. So, there are two meanings at work. Literal meaning is what you understand through words, through the language that he has used. But he is actually trying to hint at something else. So, the other meaning, that is deeper meaning, is hidden behind this literal meaning, this surface level meaning. It involves a continuous parallel between two or more levels of meaning in a story, so that its persons and events correspond to their equivalents. So, this is basically a kind of long process in which we have parallels. So, we look at how the writer is using these two things to create meaning. So, in that story we look at characters and what these characters actually symbolize. So, we look at different events and what these events actually refer to. So, this is a continuous parallel between multiple levels of meaning. Allegorical thinking was actually prevalent in the Christian literature of the Middle Ages, and it flourished in the morality plays which were written in the Middle Ages, mostly based on moral and biblical themes. So, the basic plot was taken from these moral stories or biblical stories. or in the dream visions of Dante and Langland, two poets. And after them we have allegorists, artists, writers who used allegory in their works, Dryden and Orwell. So they used allegory as a method of satire in order to criticize certain aspect in society. The best known allegory in the English language is John Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress. Now, Pilgrim's Progress is a simplified representation of an average person's journey through the trials and tribulations of life on his way to heaven. So, through this work, John Bunyan, and this Pilgrim's Progress is a work that is full of Christian imagery. So, the writer actually portrays life of a Christian man, that how he has to face difficulties and problems in life, how he has to how he has to cope with problems, how he has to overcome different difficulties, and then abide by the laws of God and reach heaven. So, through this story of an imaginative character, he is actually referring to an average person's life, that this is how the life of all human beings is, that we have to live through different difficulties in life, but if we follow the right path, if we do good deeds, will win God's blessings. The second literary term here is, for today's discussion, Bildungsroman. It is a kind of novel that follows the development of protagonist's mind and character through varied experiences. So, this character experiences many things in life, and through experiences he improves his mind and character, and often through a spiritual crisis from childhood or adolescence into adulthood, which usually involves recognition of one's identity and role in the world. Simply speaking, Bildungsroman is a kind of novel in which the writer portrays a character who develops his maturity of mind and character through experiences. So, he sort of progresses in terms of maturity or in terms of physical maturity. So, this maturity is applicable to intellectual, mental maturity and physical maturity both. So, this character spends time, faces different difficulties, experiences many things, and then becomes mature. So, from childhood or adolescence he enters adulthood, he becomes adult, and then through these experiences he recognizes his own identity, what he truly is, and what is the role that he can play in the world. So, this is a kind of novel basically in which the writer talks about a character's improvement, a character's development, a character's progress. Now, Bildungsroman is also the Kunstlerroman, which you can say artist novel, which represents the growth of a novelist or other artist from childhood into the stage of maturity, that signalizes the recognition of the protagonist's artistic destiny and mastery of an artistic craft. So, basically this is this term, this other type of novel, Kunstlerroman novel, is again an extension of Bildungsroman. Now, Bildungsroman is generally about a character's development of mind and character. But on the other hand, Kunstlerroman is artistic development. How a writer, how a poet, how a novelist develops maturity, how he becomes an accomplished writer with the passage of time. The term formation novel, that is Bildungsroman, which means formation novel, comes from Germany, where Goethe's Wilhelm Meister's Allegory, that is I guess an Italian work, set the pattern for later Bildungsroman. So, basically the novel, this type of novel has started from Goethe's work. Many outstanding novels of the 19th and early 20th centuries follow this pattern of personal growth. For instance, Dickens' novel David Copperfield, there is this spelling mistake, David Copperfield. For example, when the novel describes the formation of a young artist, as in Joyce's A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. So, this second novel by James Joyce is an example of Kunstlerroman, the novelist's development, a person's development to become an accomplished artist, to realize his potential as an artist. So, this is it for today. I have talked about two literary terms, basically allegory and Bildungsroman, and in connection Kunstlerroman. Thank you very much.